Hello, and welcome to another episode of My Brain Está Spicy, the podcast where two overthinking, sometimes anxiety-ridden friends spill on their highs and lows and the craziness of navigating mental health in our daily lives.
We are your hosts, Melisa and Christy. I'm Christy. She's Melisa. And as always, we are going to be talking about the beautiful chaos of life with spicy brains and inject this safe space with as much humor and our unique sazon as we can. So get yourself comfortable, grab your favorite drink or three, because it's sure to be a super fun time.
And just so we're clear, everybody, we are not medical professionals. The views and opinions that we are going to share on our show are for informational and entertainment purposes only. We are not doctors, lawyers, or financial advisors. If you need expert advice in any way, shape, or form, please seek out the proper qualified professionals.
Seriously, go to therapy.
And with that, here we go. Hola, and welcome back to My Brain Está Spicy, your place for overthinkers and anxiety and just navigating mental health with a little bit of fun and sazon. Christy and I are back for yet another episode. Yeah. And today we are going to start what I think is probably going to become a very recurring series for us on work-life balance, which is something that Christy is very, very, very passionate about, as am I. But as I'm not working right now, this pertains primarily to her. But
no, it pertains to everyone.
Well, yes, but I mean, in terms of the co-hosts on this show, right now, this pertains to you.
I suppose.
Anyways, so today we're going to be talking about taking vacations, taking breaks. It looks different for everybody. Today we're going to see how it's looking for Christy. So I've got some fun questions lined up for her. And with that, we're just going to jump right in. So, Christy.
Yes.
Today's episode is lovingly called Christy Takes a Break, or does she? So, by the way, folks, she is coming to you today from gorgeous Naples, Florida.
Yes, I am.
In a beautiful beachside apartment for her little vacation.
Yes.
I'm living vicariously through her. It's absolutely gorgeous where she's at. But, I'm not jealous. I promise I'm not jealous. Maybe I don't know.
I'm jealous of myself because I'm just like, I don't even, it's hard to process, like, the beauty, the natural beauty, like, right, that's right outside. So, yeah, I get it. I also am jealous. Yeah. I don't know, but I'm really good at feeling overwhelmed about and kind of like disassociating when I get into new environments, like transitioning from my everyday life to going to Disney or going here or like transitioning to a new environment. I tend to disassociate for like a day where I'm like, what? Like, I'm not here. I don't know where I am, but I'm not here. So maybe tomorrow I'll feel better, but tomorrow I'm working. So anyway, but to lead you in, please proceed.
So we'll talk about that in a second. So with that said, looking back on like how things have been going, because I know the end of the year / beginning of the year is always crazy for you, which makes sense because a lot of companies, it depends on when benefits plans are restarting and so on and so forth. So I know for you, this is chaotic. But looking back, what were the signals to you that came up that basically led you to, saying, hey, hubby, I need a little bit of a break. Let's get out of here.
I mean, I always know that I tend to do that near the end of my busy season, or usually in the middle of the busy season. My busy season tends to be like October through February-ish. And by busy, I mean like insane amounts of responsibility on my shoulders. What I do had a lot to do with just year-end processes within the company that I work for. I'm in HR. I don't do what people think of HR when they think of HR. I do more numbers-oriented things. So a lot of really detail-oriented computer heavy, spreadsheet heavy time in my world. So it's very physically exhausting, like staring at the computer, trying to catch every single little thing, not making mistakes, lots of manual processes, all that. Amidst all that, like, I already know, but there's little, I guess, signals in my body. I think I experience a lot more physical anxiety symptoms. So kind of what we had talked about in previous episode, experiencing like heavy chest or shortness of breath, just feeling more symptomatic in general, like feeling like I'm not getting a break, like from these symptoms that I'm having. More disassociating, kind of not being able to really rest. I'm really, and it also has to do with my personality type. Like I'm extremely detail oriented naturally. I'm curious by nature, problem solver by nature. So I don't like leaving things unfinished, which is a problem when you have so much to do, because then you want to finish everything and get everything done. And at this point, I've been in my job for a decade. So my boss knows me and how quickly I can work, which is probably too quickly, and piles it on. So in terms of how I knew, I don't know, just generally feeling like a lot of rage. I feel a lot of rage when it comes to work around this time. A lot of just feeling like much more cynical about everything, like just not having the mental capacity to like deal with anything other than work, like everything feeling overwhelming, everything feeling like just, yeah, and not being able to feel like, okay, I'm done. It's always like, no, but I have to keep checking my phone. No, but I have to make sure, like, but did I do this thing right? And did I remember that exception to that rule? And, just all that. So all those signals. Also, I get like weird little things like my left ear. That's a long story, but my left ear tends to clog up or ring when I'm very stressed out. And that was happening a lot.
I have that happen. I know what
Oh,
that feels
really?
like.
I
It's
feel
so
like it's
weird.
really
Yeah.
common. When I talk about it, people are like, that happens to me too. I'm like,
Yeah, it's tinnitus. I can't remember what my ENT told me why that happens.
tinnitus?
Yeah, thank you. I always say it
Tinnitus.
wrong. Tinnitus, tinnitus.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Anyways,
Nice.
I've had it for years. But funny enough,
Yeah.
it's a comfort sound for me now. Like I have to hear ringing in my ears.
Oh, the ringing?
Yeah, I have to hear ringing in my ears to go to sleep. So that's why I sleep with earplugs. But we're digressing. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Interesting. No, that's really interesting because that's fascinating because I cannot do silence. Like true silence, no. I need like white noise or some kind, anything. Running water, a lot of times I'll find myself like in the morning, I get up, I'm going to brush my teeth. I leave the water running while I'm brushing my teeth, while I'm doing, because it's white noise. Yeah. I don't like silence. And it's because my ears bother me if I don't. It's very weird. Anyway, I get you. Sorry. So anyway, yes, lots of signals that my body gives me, that my mind gives me, aside from the physical feeling of feeling absolutely burned out and overwhelmed. Unfortunately, at this point, there's not. When you get really good at your job, the way corporate America rewards you is by giving you more jobs. So I
hate that.
Legitimately work 3 people's jobs right now. Like I truly do. Like at least 2.5. At least 2.5. If I'm like whatever, but 3. Like 3 people. I do not get paid 3 people's worth, but anyway, so yeah. I get lots of different little signals. The problem is that a lot of what I do, so one of the functions that I am in charge of is payroll, which is my least favorite fucking thing in the entire world. I'm so sorry if you're a payroll person. You have my sympathies. Empathy, sympathy, both. All of the above. Because I do it, so I get it.
So it's got to be depressive too, where you're
It's
like
really
looking at all the
depressing.
numbers.
I mean, so at some point, you're kind of, the numbers become noise because there's so much that can go wrong that
Yeah, that you've got to focus.
I have to focus. So, anyway.
So you mentioned that because of your personality and how you are, and I'm very much like you. Like, I don't like to leave things undone. Do you feel guilty when you finally give yourself the permission to step away? And what is your feeling in terms of why do you think we as women, especially, struggle with fully unplugging?
Oof. 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 Hitting with the hard ones. Damn. Okay. I
gotta make you work for it.
Damn. Okay. First part first. So do I feel guilt? I don't feel guilt because I'm too burnt out and I know how hard I work. That's something that I can say. I don't feel guilt. I feel worried that something's gonna go wrong. Or like something,
and then you're gonna get in trouble and so forth.
Well, not that I'll get. You mean like when I'm finally resting? This is you're assuming a big thing. You're assuming I let myself rest. That's an assumption.
That I have a follow-up question for that. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's finish these two first.
Okay, so do I feel guilt? No, I feel more worried something's gonna happen while I'm gone, or I forgot something. And I'm like you had mentioned this in the last episode about like you do your due diligence. I document everything. I make it, and I know a lot of people don't do this, but when you are someone like me that does way too much, you contribute way too much, you're way too valuable. You have to document everything so that if a bus hits you tomorrow, or if you win the lottery tomorrow, it'd be better to win the lottery, obviously, but anything can happen. If you win the lottery tomorrow and you're not coming back to work, someone's going to have to pick it up. Someone's going to have to look at it. So I try to make it so that when I'm not there, someone can go into like my folders and my checklists and everything and not be completely lost. So first part, guilt part, no. So when it comes to women not being able to really turn off, like, completely, I think it's because we know. My husband's sitting right over there. We know that.
I love how that answer, like just saying we know, like there are like 50 words involved in that we know, and you don't have to say it. And I know exactly what you are saying.
We know what could go wrong, what will be missed, and this applies to stay-at-home moms. This applies to all women. We just fucking know. Like, I know if I don't remind him of XYZ, it won't happen. And it's not because he's incapable. He is stupidly capable. He's an angel sent from heaven who keeps me literally fed and alive. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without him. So let's make that real clear right here, right now. Like, he's wonderful, and I think he can hear me. Can you hear me? I love you. But I also know if I don't tell him, like, do you have your phone and your keys in your wallet? He's going to forget them. Probably. So, like, that's a very small example, but it's something that applies across the board. In work especially, there are so many situations where I've been like, this is going to come back around in 3 months. You're saying, no, we don't want to do that right now. Or no, we don't have to worry about that level of detail right now. Yes, you do. You're going to ask me for it. So I'm going to prepare and I'm going to do the extra work right now. So that in 3 months, in 6 months, in 1 year, in 3 years, when you ask me for it, it's going to be like, here you go, done.
Yeah,
that's so what makes
you
it
almost
hard.
like you almost like stress yourself out a little bit more at the uptick for that specific example so that down the line, when what inevitably happens that you said was going to happen, you are not caught with your ass out the window. And I don't know why that was the metaphor that I went with, but it felt like it worked.
But it's true.
So
a big part of working in corporate America is being able to manage up. And I think the good part about being like me, I guess, or like being so, how do you say it? Like so disciplined with myself. And that's probably the biggest characteristic that like affects all this, is that I am very hard on myself. And that is because I am, say it with me, the eldest daughter. Yeah. So I'm the eldest daughter. I am the first child in my entire generation in my family on both sides. So I was from a very young age, and this is going into my history, and I don't know why I took this turn, but I'm going to go with it. Whatever. I was expected to be the example from a very young age. First, I was expected to be able to communicate among adults, with adults at a very young age, because I was the only kid around in 1986. My family, it was all adults and me. So, and it was like that for, 4 or 6 years. So, okay. And then once kids started coming around, it was, I'm the example. I have to be. And on top of that, I am the child of 2 firstborn children. So my parents both have extremely toxic but highly effective work ethics. I mean, I can't even, I'm a disorganized mess compared to my parents. Like I'll be very lucky if I can be a quarter as successful as they've been in their lives. But I mean, it's not all of them. It's also the economy, whatever. It's a whole other can of worms. But they don't know how to rest either, or at all. So I have a very good example, and by good, I mean bad. They're amazing humans, but I don't know what resting looks like, or I didn't for a very long time. So now as an adult, having to teach myself the value of rest, and not just teaching myself the value, but really experiencing the magnitude of consequences that comes with not resting. That's what really hits you. And it didn't really, really start hitting me until the last couple of years, that I was like, oh, like my body isn't what it used to be. My brain isn't what it used to be. Like, it's just kind of not the bouncing back from these high stress periods of time with work, which have been getting more and more frequent and less seasonal. All of that has kind of continually compounded. It's kind of like episodic, I don't know, periods where it just compounds on each other. And at the end, I'm just left with this huge deficit of rest, where when I choose to take a break, right? Like, okay, I'm going to go for a week to the beach with my husband, and it's just going to be me and him. And that's where we are now. But I don't have enough PTO to take the entire week because I'm going to Alaska in May. So I have to work 2 days from here. And then I can take Wednesday and Thursday and Friday off. But then we have to be back at home because we have to celebrate his birthday, which was on Friday, with his parents on Sunday. So that's what it is to be a woman today. And I don't even have children. So that's not even part of an equation, which it's part of the equation for many people. But yeah.
So you said something that bleeds into my next set of questions were going to be, which was, what was the plan versus the reality of this trip, and kind of circling back to why this episode is called Christy Takes a Break, or does she? You kind of answered it in the sense of you didn't have enough PTO, so you couldn't take the work, like the full week off. So those questions got answered, but let me ask you this. with the fact that you do unfortunately have to work 2 days remote, and then you get to take a couple of days off, actually, what are some things that you do where even though you're working remotely, you're still allowing yourself to have the trip feel like it is a break?
Yeah.
And then for the next time that you take a break, which you just mentioned is the cruise to Alaska, what would you do differently to make sure that the next trip feels different? And then we'll table the conversation of what you were talking about, how like women do struggle extra to take off, and how because we overwork like our bodies and this, that, and the other. Because I have something that I do want to say to that, that triggered for me, but I want to hear your thoughts on like those two questions first.
Wait, say them again.
So like,
Sorry.
what are you doing now to make this break still feel like a break, even though you're having to work remotely? And then what are you hoping to do differently for the next trip that's coming up when you go to Alaska?
Yeah. So I actually try to do this every Monday, no matter what, because my schedule is I work remote Monday, Tuesday, and then go into the office for absolutely no reason at all, because I could easily do my complete whole job from the office or from home, which my boss has openly admitted to, but whatever. So on Mondays, I try to make it bare minimum Monday, and it kind of helps with the Sunday scaries in that I'm only doing what I absolutely must, or if something like comes up, then I'm dealing with that. But I'm not like, I try not to like sit at my computer the entire day. No, no. I try not to. So especially here, that's what it'll look like for the next 2 days. Cause like I just I've come to a point, just cause I've come to a point where I know that I work enough that I shouldn't have to, but I've proven that I'm trustworthy, that I can do work, that I can be trusted. And an employee should be trusted from the get-go. I disagree with the way that it's handled in corporate America, but it is what it is. I've given so much that I'm not going to be able to get back, which is heartbreaking, but I can only move forward. That's all I got. I can only move forward. And so it's kind of like it's not a spiteful thing. Maybe it's a little bit of a spiteful thing, but I'm gonna do bare minimum. You know, I'm gonna go sit out on the beach during lunch, or I'm gonna spend the entire day on this balcony just looking at the water. Like, that's what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm gonna take the moments of joy that I can, and I've been trying to do that more overall in my life, because life is short. Like, I've had to grapple with that closely in my life very recently because of my grandmother being sick, with the whole thing. But we just don't have a lot of time, and we spend most of our time working, and that's most of our waking time working. And that's fucked up, man. I disagree with it completely. I think it's fucking bullshit.
Here. That's here. Let's remember that there are other countries in the world that,
I know,
embrace the concept of working to live, not living to work.
Not living to work. And that's what I'm trying to do. I don't work in a place that allows for that. For now, I've tried to do so much to make it so my job feels more like that, but it hasn't worked, because the more efficient I've made things, the more they put on me. I'm like, okay, wait, this wasn't what I meant. Like,
so do you feel that part of that is more a conversation of talking to them with,
silly, because I know every single person is replaceable. Every job in their eyes, right? Like, they wouldn't blink twice if they thought I was a waste of space and money to get rid of me. I just happened to prove my worth, I suppose. Which is fine, but
it's proven your value. at your worth. I learned something recently that has shifted my dynamic on how people talk about money and what you do for work. No one can ever pay you your worth, because your worth is your life. So no one can ever pay you your worth, but they can pay you your value. So it's important to find the value that you bring to organizations and to work in general, or to your own, personal business. If you're a business owner, which, by the way, rock on women bosses and women business owners. It's important to know that value. Which, when we talked about it in the job searching episode the other day, like I failed to mention that. But that's part of also what I've changed in my job searching this time around, is I'm focusing on the value that I'm bringing and not what I'm worth. Because
I like that.
I am a living, breathing human being. I am worth everything. My life is worth everything to me and to those that care about me. So no one's ever going to be able to pay me my worth, but you can sure as shit pay me my value. So that's what I fight for. So
I like that. That's good. I like that. I have to remember that. Thank you. I like that little
You're welcome.
tidbit.
All right, so
you said you had wanted to talk about something.
Yeah, I wanted to circle back to something that you said with regards to generations and like your parents, and they just don't know how to rest and they don't know how to stop. I think that's also a cultural thing.
Oh yes,
especially within Hispanics.
Oh yes.
And if you're the child of first generations, it's the same thing. I suffered from the same, like literally when you said that, I know exactly what you mean. Like my parents are Cuban immigrants. They came over as children.
Same.
They came over as children. My dad came over in the Peter Pan flights. So he came without parents.
My dad too.
Yeah, he was without parents for several years. That's traumatizing in its own way, and who he was cared by. They were very much like, you got to work and this, that, and the other, and they were harsh, and that changes a person. Although my dad is a very sweet man in his own right. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. It was different. But my mom worked from a very young age. She was raised by a single mother, not by choice. Unfortunately, my grandfather passed away as they were fleeing Cuba. He died in Mexico before my mom and my grandmother and my aunt got out. So they became a single parent household, and that's its own dynamic. So work ethic is very important. What I'm basically trying to say is I understand the concept of how the work ethic for them is very important. But I think what you mentioned, which is what I was trying to say, as a generation, boomers don't know how to sit. Boomers don't know how to be in silence, which is something that's very big for me. And they view rest as a waste.
Laziness.
Yeah.
Lazy.
The statement of you sleep when you die. Like, no, you don't sleep when you die. You don't sleep when you die. You're literally dead. There is no sleep. Sleep is I close my eyes at night and I wake up the next day and my body has attempted its best to recharge so that I can function for another day. Your statement resonated very much with me, because inability to rest is what put me in the hospital, is what literally drove me into therapy, because we came out of COVID. My brother, unfortunately for my brother and his wife, they had to postpone their wedding because they were supposed to get married in 2020, and they ended up having to postpone it, and they got married in 2021, or was it 22? I can't even remember. COVID all blends together. It was 2022 because we were already living in Orlando. Yeah. So it was 2022 that they had to postpone through, because in 2021, things still weren't fully open. They didn't feel comfortable, so they postponed to 2022. And we went to the wedding, and of course, it feels like a giant family reunion for both sides of the family. And it was just like, go, go, go. And I'll never forget it. Like, I remember that moment and that trip and like the week after that wedding so vividly. Frankie and I, that's my husband's name, by the way, for those that are listening. Frankie and I left Orlando, got in like middle of the day. We had been flying all day long to LA. We get into LA and my parents met us downstairs. Like, we didn't even get the chance to check into the hotel, like, by ourselves. Like, my folks met us downstairs in the lobby. We get there, and because my parents have already been there for a couple of days because they went out early to help my brother and his wife kind of get ready for the wedding. Love it. My parents are awesome, by the way, but, they all have their things. And it's like, I go to check in, and the front desk host knows who I am. She goes, oh, we've met your mom. She's talked to us all about you and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I've been traveling for 12 hours. Please just give me my room keys. I'm like, I just want to go up to my room.
Please.
We go up to her room, find out my mom booked not adjoining, but like our rooms were like right next to each other. So when Frankie and I got there, we told them, they're like, oh, do you guys want to go eat? Do you want to do this? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Frankie had to go to my brother's bachelor party that night. So he was already tired. And I was like, Mom, I'll meet you downstairs at 6. Like, I go, we kind of just want to decompress a little bit. Like, we've been traveling since we were up at 4 a.m. to be at MCO at 6 a.m. for our flights, or by 6 a.m. for our flights. And we had connecting flights. So like, and it's the time difference. Like, I'm technically, like, I got to California. I think we got there, it was like 3 o'clock. It's already 6 o'clock in my body's brain. So it's like, I was just off. And we didn't even get 20 minutes and my mom's already calling me and saying, where do you want to go? What do you want to eat? And I was like, Mom, I said I'd meet you in the lobby at 6. Like, and I remember, and then he left and I did finally go downstairs. We go out. And it was like another mini reunion. So my mom linked up with a couple of our cousins and then we all went out to eat. And I'm like, I now know this is part of my sound sensitivity. And I was burning out from work, didn't realize it was work burnout, so on and so forth. And I forget what we were talking about at the dinner. And I just lost my shit on like a specific topic. And I started crying. And they're like, no, you don't have to cry. And I was like, I'm just tired. Like, I go, I don't even remember. And then the wedding happened, and the wedding was its own thing. It's all day because my husband and I were both in the wedding. And then the day after was a whole nother thing. It was a brunch, and then it was a mini family reunion again for my family, for whoever was left over. And then it was flying home. And 2 days later, I was in the hospital. Yeah. And I remembered when the day after I got home from the hospital, I think that I was only in overnight. I remember looking at my now husband and I'm like, something's got to change. I go, I can't keep doing this. I go, I need help. And that's when I started reaching out to people. I started having conversations with you and a couple of other friends about, starting to go to therapy, what to think about with going into therapy, who to talk to and so forth, and how to approach the right fit with a therapist. The first time I ever met with my therapist, she asked me to describe, how are you feeling? And I go, I feel like I'm drowning. I go, I literally feel like I am in a bucket of water and I am completely underwater and I don't know how to come up for air. And all of that comes from the fact that as women, we don't know, like, it's so difficult to disconnect and honestly just sit. And I credit my husband so much for honestly teaching me how to be able to disconnect and relax. Granted, in my opinion, sometimes I think he relaxes a little bit too much. I do still like to go out and do shit on the weekend when we're not working.
Oh, I don't.
But
no.
I do. But I have come to appreciate and balance.
That's good.
Taking a break and taking a Saturday where it's like, hey, we're not going to do anything today. Let's pick up some food and let's just veg. Now, I haven't done that in a while, but I appreciate when I get to do it. And I very much do believe that it is a generational thing. And I think the more that people get help to take care of their mental health, the more we stop operating from trauma response. Not only within the workforce, but also outside of the workforce. And we begin to embrace rest and enjoyment. And that's part of like what I mentioned in the other episode about, my job searching, where I try to embrace every single day if I can, at least 15 to 30 minutes. I put my phone down. The only thing that it's still next to me because I have it as a timer. And I set a timer and I put my phone down and I just exist in the sound of what is around me. And I sit outside and I get sunlight and fresh air. And I sit in existence without internal stimulus. Our society is so big on multitasking and always doing something.
Yes.
And what people don't realize is you're not really multitasking. Your brain is just consistently, it's just rapid fire moving from task to task.
Yeah.
You're not actually multitasking. Yeah. And
we can't multitask.
That coincides with
not able.
That coincides with sitting and relaxing. Like if you have a TV on and you're relaxing, you're not actually relaxing. Your brain is what's the word I'm looking for? It's not fluctuating. It's going to come to me at like the least operable moment. For the lack of not having the word fluctuating between watching the TV and what is going on around you. Watching TV and sitting in your body. Watching TV and this. Same thing if you're outside and you're listening to music. Like my mom loves to say,
vacillating? Oscillating.
Vacillating. Thank you. Or
oscillating.
God, I love you. Yes, that is the word. It's oscillating between everything that's going around. My mom loves to say, she's like, oh yeah, no, I was relaxing. I was sitting outside and I was listening to music and reading. And I go, no, you were not just sitting outside. Your brain was taking in the outside environment and oscillating between listening to the music and what you are reading.
Yeah.
So with my sitting outside, to circle back, what I do now is I just take those 15 minutes and I just exist in sitting. If my eyes are darting to different things around in the environment, that's different. My brain is still just taking in the one input, which is literally just sitting and existing outside. That's it. But we have come to the end of our episode. Is there anything else you would like to touch on regarding you taking a break or anything, any recommendation you would like to give to folks to kind of help either A, avoid their burnout and taking more breaks, or B, noticing their burnout and giving themselves their breaks?
I would say as your friendly HR person, take all of your PTO. That is part of your compensation. If you are not taking your PTO, you're shorting yourself out of your compensation. Take your PTO. I do not build up. There are so many people in my company who have their balances of PTO to the maximum level and they keep it there because we pay it out at termination. But these are people that have been with the company for like 20 years. So I'm like, you're obviously not going anywhere. What you doing? Take time off. Take time off. And I know it's tempting to be like, I should save some just in case something happens. But
that's what I do sometimes.
If you're working, which is fair, and which is also fucked up that companies expect you to do that. Like, I should be able to use all my PTO, and then if something happens, you should be able to cover me too. Like, that's life. That's the price of hiring a human, is that we can plan for like all the rests we need in order to be productive members of society and of your stupid company. But also anything can happen. I could get in a car accident. My partner could, whatever. Like, anything can happen where you need extra time. And even though we do have some laws when it comes to leave of absences and specifically like job protections, which is something, the options in this country for like, I won't even go into maternity leave. Like,
No, it's a different conversation.
We don't give people the time to make the transitions in their lives that they need to, because shit happens. My engagement broke off. I had to take a day off to like process it. And then I was back at work and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, see, I am not okay. Like, this is a huge life transition. But there's no PTO type for broken engagement or like a breakup with a significant other, whatever. Like, so much happens. And unfortunately, companies function based off of the bad eggs, or like those exceptional cases where people take advantage and they ruin it for everybody. But again, I feel like that's a boomer mentality. So anyway, first piece of advice, take your fucking PTO. Take it. Second piece of advice, don't do what I do. Don't make yourself so invaluable that you become the single Jenga piece holding up the rest of the Jenga tower. Don't do that. Not smart. I mean, sure, job security wise, but mental wise, not smart. Nope, don't do it. 0 out of 10 recommend. I can say that when I do rest, like, and this is a work in progress, when I'm off, right, like taking PTO, I do not touch my phone. Like, it does not. I do not. It has to be like an emergency. Like I don't know, something's burning down. Like, and I'm not even the person to call in that case, so don't call me. Like, I just don't call me. You don't want this. I'm probably high, so leave me alone.
Alrighty. Well, this was fun.
Anyway,
this was fun. I liked,
a little bit more about me.
But I think this conversation is good. I think a lot of people can understand it and relate to it, and the balance of trying to find rest in respite. I think a lot of people just don't know how to do that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it.
We're all learning together, breaking generational trauma and shit, like, we can only do the best we can. A lot of times I feel like a sellout, or like a complete, and that's something I've been working on recently. Like, I've failed my inner child. I failed my, I'm smarter than this. I'm smarter than being the person that is the go-to and the know-it-all kind of person on my team that does way too much for way too little. Like, how did I get to be this person? And the fuck? So I am still figuring shit out. Yeah. I don't know how. Sorry. Other 50th tangent of the podcast. So I will stop talking. You can do the outro.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this fun and winding road that is mental health and how we decide to navigate it. We hope you enjoyed today. And as Christy puts it, our 50 million tangents. I enjoyed it. I think it's just real life.
I did too.
We look forward
It is.
We look forward to having you guys join us for our next my brain's shutting down. For our next episodes coming soon. Like always, please follow, and share. And we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, recommendations you want to share with us, or you have an episode topic in mind that you would like to share with us, please email us at thespicybrainpod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And until next time, we hope you guys stay well, and may your brains be a little bit less spicy.
And your tummies too.
Hey there. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you hanging out with us on this mental health ride. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, follow, comment, and share My Brain Está Spicy with your fellow overthinkers, because the more the merrier in this Spicy Brain Club. If you're curious about any of the hacks or products we've mentioned, check out the show notes for links. We're not sponsored by any of these, though feel free to call us. We just love them so much and think you might too. Catch you next time. And until then, may your brain be just a little bit less spicy.